Barfield is here. His show's coming up from the Star in Frisco at 10 o'clock. What are some of your takeaways from yesterday, either Baylor or otherwise yesterday?
I thought from Baylor's perspective, just how excited, how engaged the players were. I mean, we talked. In fact, I talked to everybody yesterday at some point, and just the energy level. I mean, it's early July. We're a long way away, really, a couple of months. But the energy level that they brought yesterday was really cool. Had a chance to visit with Doug McNamee, Coach Aranda. So it was a good day yesterday, and we'll have a lot of that on the program coming up at 10 o'clock today. But, it's this event it almost is the kind of the kickstart.
Isn't it?
You go get your Texas football magazine, and then a couple of weeks later you come to this event, and it's football season.
Yeah, very much so. Your visit with Doug, there was an op-ed piece in the USA Today yesterday,
right?
And Doug was talking about fan-friendly, fan-first, how important the fans are to Baylor, but to college athletics these days. That was very timely op-ed, and Doug talked about that, didn't he?
He did. And, one of the things that he discussed is, look what's going on. You got NIL. You got the transfer portal. You've got conferences that are, spanning, 3-4 time zones. Yeah. You're asking your fan base, your core fan base, to do a lot of things. You're asking, but you're not giving. And that was kind of his message is, hey, when do we kind of put them back, them being the fan? When do we put them back as an integral piece to this thing? And that was his message. And I think it's pretty clear what's going to happen at Baylor this fall, moving into the new school year, of what his priority is. And his priority is going to be the fans. I mean, look at the program, John, that he's starting for Waco and McLennan County. Yeah. Just Waco and McLennan County, and how that's going to look and what that's going to do. He's about putting the fan first. And you know what? His time away from athletics gives him a different perspective.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that when he came back into the athletic arena as the AD, that he brought that with him. You know what? That the consumer, someplace on the list, the consumer needs to be at the top of the list. And right now, they're not.
Yeah.
And they're going to be at Baylor this fall.
Yeah, and it comes from his background. I mean, he's got such a great foundation as a Baylor fan first, and that's where it started with him. And he remembers that. Now he's in a position to make that happen and create experiences for fans that he enjoyed when he was younger.
Well, yeah, I mean, he told a story yesterday that, and you'll hear it a little later on, that they went to a football game. They being his family, his wife wasn't able to go, so he takes the kids. They go to the football game. He yells and screams. They have concessions, and then he's mad because he didn't like a couple of calls, and he goes home. But he thought about the experience that he and his kids had, and he said, you know what, there's got to be a little bit more. And there's going to be a little bit more, and so there's where the touchdown alley and all of the different elements that go into the game day experience. He wants to put the fan back at the top of the list, and that's a cool thing.
I think it's great. Reduced concession prices. That's a big deal, because it's expensive to go to a game. Any athletic event, really, it's expensive. So he's trying to help out there.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's going to trickle down. You're going to start with football, obviously, but I think you'll see it trickle to all the other sports. And the sport that I'm real passionate about, obviously, is baseball. There are weeks where you're playing 4 and 5 games in a week. So I mean, helping the fan out and being fan friendly in that aspect, I think it's he's on the right target. Yeah. And I think his colleagues will pick up on this, that, hey, sometimes the fan needs to be at the top of the list, because obviously there's, you were just talking about a contract with a vendor and all of that kind of stuff, the business aspect of it. But where's the fan?
Right.
And that's his message right now.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I love Doug. I've worked with him in a number of ways through the years. And I just think he's great for this position because of his background, the great foundation of experience that he has and he brings into that AD's role, I think is very much needed and very timely.
You know what I love about him? And this is the truth. He'll sit down with you. He'll sit down with anybody. And when he engages in a conversation, he's listening.
Yeah.
And he's really listening to what you have to say, and he's taking notes, mental notes, and some of that stuff is implemented. I mean, he's he's a guy that has a vision, but he's also a guy that listens, and listens to what his colleagues are saying, listens to what the people on the campus are saying. I mean, he's a listener, and I think that's a huge piece for him.
Yeah, that's good you notice that, because I feel the same way. He's always asking us questions, down the hallway, and I'm sure he does it with everybody he runs into. He's always asking questions, getting their input. Then it all goes in, and then he makes his decision.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? And he's not going to talk about it. There's not going to be a bunch of flags flying and hoopla, but he does. He absolutely takes in that information. He logs it into the bank.
Yeah.
And when he makes a decision, I think all of that stuff is processed. He's a processor before he's a decision maker.
Yeah. So it's great to have Doug here yesterday, and he was at the event last night. Any of the other schools that were here yesterday, their coaches, their players, anything catch your attention?
Obviously the Texas Tech thing. I think personally the way Joy McGuire went about it was really. I think he handled it well. Were there some issues prior to the way that they were handling things? Let's be honest. They did a roundtable that just did not go well. I think the way he went about his business yesterday, I think he handled it, and try to put that off to the side and talk about Red Raider football. Look, they're going to be a good football team with or without that. So, I think the way that Tech went about their business, because I was curious, was that going to just overwhelm everybody here? Right. I really thought that, if you don't do it right, that could be the underlining story for all 8 teams that were here yesterday, that's the thing we were going to talk about. And honestly, after they kind of got going and doing their thing and handled it the way that they did, they being Coach McGuire, I don't think it was that big a deal.
Yeah. I think he handled it well, and Brett Yormark kind of cut it off, pretty quick. He's not going to talk about that the way he said it was. We're not going. This is not the place or time for that. We want to focus on the schools and the student athletes and coaches that are here and looking forward.
And that was early in the process.
Right.
I think his address to the media was about 10:15 yesterday morning, and I think that was right out of the box. And you knew it was going to be. And he said, "Hey, whoa." Here's the thing that's been dealt with. Let's move forward. This is about the 16 teams that are here and the players that are here to play, and that's basically what was the message. And again, I think Tech did a nice job as well. Because it could have really just been messy all day today. No, yesterday rather.
It could have dominated the whole day. So good thing that it didn't. I agree with you. I think they addressed it and then moved on.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then talked about football.
You're right. Maybe not addressed it as much as some people would like.
Right.
Some people were really pushing the commissioner.
But and here's the thing. Everybody's inquisitive here. All these media guys and gals are inquisitive. If they wanted to, they could have spent all day yesterday, 8 to 5, talking about that.
Exactly.
But that's not the purpose, and that wasn't the point.
Right.
And so they dealt with it early. In fact, I think Joy did his first interview at 8:00 yesterday morning. He was here bright and early, started getting things done, and then they moved on. And again, I was 3 or 4 o'clock. It was, I guess, about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Coach Aranda was addressing the media as a group, and I was thinking about it. I said, you know what? He's talking X's and O's. Yeah. He's talking about his players. That's not even a story anymore as far as yesterday was concerned.
Right.
Now, I'm sure there's going to be more conversation about it, and there will be. But for what we're doing here yesterday and today, I don't think it's that big a deal anymore.
Tell you what, that sport coat he was wearing was bright and early, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Indeed,
you could see him coming from
a long way away. Yeah,
it's good. He pulled it off, though.
Yeah, we're in the south end zone, and you could see him from the north end zone.
That's exactly right. He had that sport coat, and then the Arizona State head coach, Kenny Dillingham, had quite the suit yesterday, too.
Indeed, yeah.
Deion Sanders was kind of subdued, actually, yesterday.
And this is the crazy part, because of the way the schedule fell, I never laid eyes on
really?
Deion. Nope, did not see him. Again, we're on the 3rd row in the south end zone. We're up against the wall, as you can see, and most of that stuff was down on the north end. I literally never saw a Colorado player or the Colorado coach.
Wow, interesting.
All day yesterday.
How about that?
Yeah. Saw everybody else.
See, Chip is the Buffalo mascot. That's his name.
Didn't see Chip.
Chip was here too. Chip's here.
Okay.
The mascots are here today. Whether your school was yesterday or today, the mascots and the Spirit Squad folks are here today.
I was wondering because I said, Texas Tech was here yesterday, and then I see the Red Raider mascot and some Yell leaders here right now. Yeah.
Very cool. So off and running on day 2. What do you have planned coming up? 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock today. You're going to hear from Bryce Cherry. Bryce is going to kind of give us his overview of what he saw yesterday.
Okay.
And there's a couple really nice articles in the Waco Trib that he and Zach put together. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to air the interview that we did yesterday afternoon late with Doug McNamee. Because the interview I thought was very interesting and intriguing, not because of me, obviously, but because of Coach Aranda. We're going to re-air that on the program today as well. And then Michael Allen, the safety. Yeah. If you don't fall in love with Michael Allen, something's wrong. This is John, I don't know what kind of football player he is. It doesn't really matter. I know what kind of person he is, and that he's a fun conversation piece. Yeah. And he's a coach on the sideline. Yeah. He's an integral piece in the Heart of Texas FCA. Has a great relationship with the man that you and I both are fond of, Johnny Tusa. They have become very, very close. And we're going to talk to Michael Allen.
He's a great guy.
On the program. Look forward to that, too.
Here's a guy who's a former walk-on.
Right.
He's not going to play much, maybe on special teams, but he's voted a team captain.
What
does that say about him?
And was one of the people that the Sports Information Department chose to come here. Chose to come here.
Right.
Why is that? Because he is a perfect representative of the program and of the university, in my opinion.
He really is. Yeah,
so
he's a great
guy. Should be
guy.
fun.
Glad you got to visit with him.
You bet.
All right, we'll let you go back to work. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks. All right, we'll